Hey guys, namaste. It's Yogini Kala. I am just happy to be here, and I had trouble with YouTube because, as some of you may know, YouTube doesn't, the Hangouts function doesn't work on Firefox. So I was trying to do Firefox because that's my usual browser anyway, so ran into technical difficulties, and I really wanted to be here. I'm going to persevere. And those of you know, I've said that I am really just practicing the live right now. And so it's good to do it. In the background is Percival the cat. And he has been fed, but he always wants to get involved. So yeah, namaste. Namaste, namaste. Namaste means the divine within me honors the divine within you. And so, yeah, just putting it out to you, just like I'm doing, just start. If you are interested in, doing something new, something that might be challenging for you, like live. I see why they don't do live on television very much, because it is challenging. If anything goes wrong, there it is. I think, in fact, when broadcasts do live, right, I think they do like a 5-second delay or something like that. So I don't have such a thing. So let me scoot you guys over just a little bit more towards my light. Okay. So what I thought I would talk about this week, and as I said, I'm really practicing, so I thank you so much for being here. I'm practicing in terms of it being live. And so I'm not doing much promotion at all. I'm really just sort of getting the hang of it. So encourage you to try something that you have been scared to do. Just put it out there, whatever it is, whether it's something like in real life that you want to do, someone you want to talk to, something you want to try. Give it a try. It's rare that there's going to be some truly negative consequence. So let's see. So today, the topic that came to me was women and healing. So if you watch my oracle reading, it's a reading of tarot, oracle, and what do I do? I do tarot, I do oracle, I do angel cards. Sometimes I do goddess cards too. I think it might have had goddess cards as well. And I believe I filmed it on Friday, and so I really got it up pretty early this week. So hopefully go check that out. It's called Spirit Messages. And the message that I got was about healing. It was very positive. It was healing and healer. And I'm not going to go over it again, but I thought that is what I want to talk about in terms of this, Sunday Spirit Messages. Like, follow up on that and link them together. And my topic has been meditation. And so way deep into the woo-woo, into meditation. I will lead you later on. Usually I do that. I'm going to say this time it's going to be about 20 after, because I started a little bit late. So I'm going to say about 20 or 25 after we'll do guided meditation. But I really wanted to talk to women out there who are my followers, follow the channel, in terms of how to heal our emotions, because that's what came up, was a sense of emotional healing. I got the Queen of Cups tarot card and a card, Ixchel, which is about healing, that we channel the divine energy and we use that as healers. So it can be about healing ourselves, and it can be about working as a healer. And I'm sure some of you that watch my channel are involved in healing on some level. And honestly, if you're a mom or a dad, right, you have kids, or almost in any relationship, on some level, we are healers for each other. Having some coconut. I love this particular coconut water. It's a little bit pricey, harmless coconut water, but it's so good. It's like amazing. So just have a sip of that. And it's the one that's sometimes pink. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's actually pink. We're all healers for each other, right? And so this week, just talking about ways we can heal, and meditation, which has been my topic. As I said, it's been my topic, but meditation, we don't talk we talk about it healing, but in the West, we talk about it more like medically and scientifically. But from some of my teachers, as I've studied meditation over a couple of decades, they've talked about people being able to really heal themselves of illness, which, yes, that's medical, but that it's about a purification, that meditation is a form of purification, okay? And if you think of purification, right, cleansing, getting rid of impurities, and what is really a lot of illness, right? It's about, on a metaphorical level, about impurities, things that have gotten into our body, mind, system that perhaps don't belong there. So meditation, and I just want to give a couple of examples from my own personal experience. I have seen that meditation can be very purifying. So I'm going to give some superficial examples. But they may not be superficial if you suffer from any of this. I find when I do a meditation retreat, you guys, and I sit, so it's called sitting. I sit for even, I'm going to even say like 5 days or so. After a certain point, I'll notice my skin will start getting it'll start clearing and have a nice glow to it. And usually, like I said, about maybe 5 days, maybe longer, and I can literally see my complexion change. Now, typically on retreat too, you're encouraged not to wear makeup or anything. So you're just seeing yourself. Again, I'm talking to the ladies. You're just seeing yourself in the mirror, and I begin to see my skin just start to glow. I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's a great story. When I was in college, we had a Zen, like a little Zen house, beautiful, like a Zen garden, really, really beautiful, a little inner courtyard garden, Japanese style, and then inside was sliding screens with the nice tatami mats, just like very authentic, historical Japanese style, very simple. And we would meditate in this place and at my college. And so I always mention, so one of the monks, Japanese man, because it was Zen, he just had this glow to his skin. And I knew it was superficial, even though I was in college. I'm like, what? His skin just looks so beautiful. He's got this glow. You know, my friends would make fun of me, and I think I called him the glowing monk. He had a name like that. That wasn't his name, obviously. I called him the glowing monk, or the radiant one or something. I came up with a name for him. And it really is because of meditation. So I'm not just saying like, oh, if you have like acne, start meditating. I'm just saying that that is one of the benefits of meditation. And it's because it's purifying. So it's purifying our emotions. So as you meditate, emotions will come up. And I mentioned that in my last video. You know, things will come up, and that's the point. I don't want you to think you're failing if emotions start coming up, okay? You're not failing if anger comes up or irritation or whatever. So in terms of talking about healing, and as women, meditation is a wonderful, wonderful technique for healing. And I feel like now in the West, we're putting out so many like types of meditation. We're almost making it like different types of soda. And as I always say, I teach the basic, truly authentic style of meditation that isn't a fad. I teach mindfulness or insight meditation. And as always, if you'd like to work with me, there'll be links below this video. So ways to heal are meditation. The basic types that I would recommend are breath meditation, breath awareness. Again, because it's no frills. A lot of the stuff you see people selling, they're basically hyping meditation to you as a way to sell it. It's almost like meditation is water and people are trying to sell flavored. They're selling you soda, right? They've taken water and they've added a little flavoring. Does that make sense? So you've got, you know, your Coke, your Pepsi, your Sprite, and all your different little soda companies. What I'm saying is the type of meditation I recommend to you would be the one that is just pure water, because you can add on to that. And that is very healing. And so especially ladies, recommend if you feel like you are having emotional ups and downs, try meditation, try breath awareness meditation or insight meditation, mindfulness meditation, which is where you become aware of your thoughts, your feelings, even physical sensations. You basically become aware of everything that's arising in your body, mind, in that continuum of body, mind, okay? So those are the types that basically, it was only 2 types. I know it might have sounded like more. And so Spirit was really saying that healing is important for us this week, especially if you are a healer. So I just want to talk a little bit about something that I did this week, and I'm holding something that a friend gave me, which I think is so cute, you guys. It's a turtle. I'm calling it Disco Turtle. You know, when you think of turtles, you think of this very plain creature, but a friend gave this to me because I mentioned to her, hold on, I'll put him this way, Disco Turtle. I mentioned that turtle was one of the sort of totem animals I was working with this weekend. So this weekend I took a workshop in shamanic work, and I'm not going to be an expert on what shamanic work is, but the easiest way to describe it, if you've never heard of it, is it's almost like self-guided daydreaming on a particular topic. Like that's what it would seem like you're daydreaming, but basically it's inner work using your imagination, seeing what arises according to certain prompts. You can explore topics, you can explore questions like how can I heal, or what might be good herbs for me to work with, things like that. So what I did, and just putting that out to you, is I attended a shamanic training. It was a full weekend. It was Saturday and Sunday. And so I just finished it a couple hours ago, and it was working with the ancestors. So really, really beautiful. Teacher has been perhaps teaching maybe 30-something years, I think, that she's been teaching. And so we did things like going way, way back, 10 or more generations, generations you wouldn't even know, to find an ancestor. Some examples could be, in terms of working with in a shamanic way, ancestor that, say you are a musician, somewhere in your lineage, somewhere way back would be someone who was very gifted with music and could almost mentor you and help you. So shamanically, you might go back and try to connect into that ancestor. Okay, and because they're in your lineage, they want to help you, and you ask specifically for an ancestor, say with the gift of music, to help you and mentor you, or one specifically for healing. And you can be very specific about what you're trying to heal, whether it's a physical thing or an emotional issue. So, so yeah, that is what I was doing this weekend, and I could say a lot more about it in terms of the some of the exercises that we did. So you basically are sitting down. I'm sure you can also do it laying down. Some people lay down as well. You close your eyes. You might cover your eyes, just to block out the light. And our teacher would give us certain prompts. And so it was drumming. We used like drumming. So we had each, different size drums. And you could either just listen to the teacher drumming, or you could participate in the drumming. And it was really, really cool. At times I did the drumming, and I found that actually helped me to journey a little bit more. So basically you were journeying back in time in this particular type of work, and an ancestor would come forward who you could work with, as I said, for whatever specific issue. It could be obscure. Maybe you're a writer, or you want to heal, maybe a relationship with your dad, or whatever issue, or maybe there's alcoholism in your family. And so you could say, is there an ancestor who, prior to this trauma that caused this pain in my lineage, and then do the practices and reach back, and you'd be presented with an ancestor. So yeah, I really, really loved it. I do feel very drawn to it. The fascinating thing that I think was hard, perhaps for some people, is turtle on my shoulder. Oops, if turtle wants to stay on my shoulder. I don't think he's going to stay. Actually, this top is sort of slippery. I think what was interesting was, you may think you know your lineage, certainly your grandparents, great-grand, maybe 4 or 5 generations back, maybe even more. But my teacher emphasized, go way, way back. I mean, you can, 800 years, 1,000 years. You might be presented with an ancestor from a heritage that you just really didn't know that you had. And that could be so fascinating. And she talked about people who have been able to then, you know, maybe the ancestor would give them a particular piece of information, like, you know, use mugwort herb, or use sage in this particular way. And then months later, they either find out through just their own research that this was indeed so. Like, they had ancestors who, you know, were from Hungary or from Egypt, or, you know, from Southeast Asia or something that they didn't even know about. Excuse me. So that was really fascinating, to not just think, you know, some people are like, oh, well, I'm Irish, Scottish, so that's who's going to show up. You know, maybe it'll be some Celtic person, but we really don't know. And that's what's so fascinating about this type of work. As I said, working with ancestors in a shamanic way, you don't know who's going to show up, and it could really open up avenues of thought for you in terms of, you know, wow, we're all really deeply interconnected in ways that we may not be able to predict. So I thought that was really wonderful. I may bring that into my work. You know, bring some of the, we did one, let's see, we did that today where we paired up and we went and sought answers for our partner. So the partner may have had a question, again, related to any particular thing, could be something minor, but they gave us permission and they asked us to work with our guides, our ancestor guide, to get information for them. Now, in all traditional cultures, African, South American, pretty much throughout the non-Western world and throughout history, you know, this type of, whatever you would call them, but shaman is what we use now, mystics would do this type of work for their people, for their tribe. So I found that really beautiful. Yeah, and if you have any questions or comments, you can type that in and I will try to address it. And so, as I said, I'm recording this live. This is a test. I find a lot of people, most people watch it on the replay because I'm not really promoting doing live yet. So yes, hi, welcome. I'm talking about a shaman training that I took where we were our ancestors for knowledge. And actually, I'll show this again if you're just joining. And as I said, most people watch it on the replay, so I don't really care how many people are watching at this point. I'm very glad that you are here. But I actually was shown turtle, and I don't know how much to say about it. I don't know if I want to go into a lot of detail at this point about it, but it was very beautiful, and it was part of my finding what land, the particular ancestor that was going to be my guide, what land they were from, and connect with the land. And turtle was part of, he's got such a big tag, I'm going to cut that tag off. Turtle was part of the land that the ancestor was on and deeply connected to, much more deeply connected than most of us are to land in this day and age. I'm also gonna, in about a minute or so, we'll do a meditation. So I was focused on healing specifically for women. I mentioned a couple types of meditation, yoga, of course. Some types of yoga that I could recommend that are specifically healing are Kripalu yoga. And again, it depends on the teacher. Kripalu, Anusara, which has sort of shifted, but there are Anusara teachers. You could try restorative yoga if you're working with healing your emotions. Restorative yoga, if you don't know, it's really cool. It's a type of yoga where you use like props like pillows and cushions, and some of them, like you might put a cushion like behind your head and in the middle of your back, and just sort of lay and like open the chest and have your arms out to the side. Just relax. So you literally are laying there. So that's restorative yoga if you've never heard of it. Restorative, and it's amazing. You're not like, don't picture like that you're moving a lot. You basically get into a position, like you might, again, if you're laying down, you might be in a twist position, but with your knees supported and your arms out, or however, depending on the posture. And then you just stay for like 3 minutes, but it's deeply, deeply healing, because the posture might be like, you know, bringing blood to the digestive organs or the kidneys or whatever. And then you just breathe and relax, and you're not expending any energy. So it's really, really good. So, you know, unless you have a medical condition, you can, of course, check with your doctor. But restorative yoga is a form that you might want to try that is very healing. As I mentioned, mindfulness meditation, breath meditation, or, and the mindfulness can include being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, whatever is arising in the moment. It can be part of what you are aware of. And that is the basic meditation, what I'm calling like the water, like pure water. It's not like the soda meditation where they've just added flavor to jazz it up so that you try it. So I really encourage you. I have some videos about meditation. And if you are interested in meditation coaching, I'll put the information below once this video is up as a replay. So let's do a little meditation, okay, if you're just joining me. So sit up nice and tall. And I'm sitting actually on a yoga block, which is kind of funny. I'm sitting on a brick, people, okay? And that's just, what is that? It's just, I wore that out. That's not a stain. It's like shiny from being used. And my friend's kid like totally messed up my yoga blocks, but what are you gonna do? So I'm sitting on that because it's a soft one. So sit nice and tall. Straight spine is always important, as straight as you can, okay? Push the crown of your head up, the heart center open, the shoulders relaxed. So pull the shoulders back and down. And we'll just briefly become aware of the breath. Take a nice deep breath in. We'll do a few deep breaths. Inhale and then exhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. You can just blow out the air or do like an ah sound. Okay, very soft. And with the exhale, you always want to just sort of lengthen it. And this is just to relax us. This isn't the actual meditation. But always take some deep breaths, right? It begins to signal to our physiology that it's okay, that it's safe. Because like if a saber-toothed tiger were chasing you, you would not be breathing deep. You wouldn't be like, nice slow deep breath. Okay, so the breathing itself signals to the brain that it's okay to relax, okay, because there's no panic. So you can start with the breath. So that's another thing. If you're trying to heal your emotions, you could look into different types of breathing practices. So once you've taken a few deep breaths with me, lower your eyes or close them all the way. Rest your hands in your lap. And it's perfectly fine if you're sitting in a chair, you guys, that's also fine. Deep breath in and down. Today we'll do the breath awareness. We'll focus at the abdomen. The two classical ways that you do breath meditation, the basic, deep type of meditation, using your breath is either focus at the nostrils or at the abdomen. Today, let's just focus at the abdomen. Feel the rising and stretching and pulling on the belly as you inhale. Feel the subtle movement as you exhale. So once you are doing the meditation, you don't control the breath in any way. So that's an important distinction. Once you're doing breath meditation, you're simply being aware of what's happening. You typically don't try to change the breath. And I'll say more about that at the end. So I'd like you to just place your attention right above the belly button or anywhere on the abdomen where you feel most aware of the subtle movement of your belly rising and falling. It does take a while for the breath to settle. Of course, when you want to meditate, you want to be in a quiet location. Now, there can be sounds outside your apartment or your home, that's fine. that you just wouldn't want there to be a lot of noise right where you are meditating. Feel the movement of the belly. And in the type of meditation I was trained in the Buddhist tradition, if you're focused at the abdomen, you're just noticing the sensations. And that is basically what's called your object. So you'd focus on the belly, focus on feeling the actual sensations that is created by your breath. Letting any sounds that you hear, just let them be open, not trying to change anything. You might hear cars go by. Whatever sounds you hear, if you're in a city, there are lots of sounds around. If you're in the country, it might be a little quieter. Just feel the motion of the belly. As I said, this is one form of the breath meditation. It can feel very grounding because rather than being focused up at the nostrils and feeling the air there, you're a bit deeper, working with the belly, and that can feel very grounding. All you're doing is noting the rising and expansion, whatever sensations in the belly, and then noticing the sensations as you exhale. You'd simply, for the entire time that you are meditating, just try to stay with that awareness. If you were able to do even 5 minutes, you would notice that you begin to feel calmer as you're just following the breath, not trying to change anything, not trying to breathe deeply, not trying to breathe shallowly, just noticing like an observer. You could even think of like a security, a guard at a gate. You're just watching the people go by. You note everyone, you see them, but it's just a normal day. You don't have to actually do anything. You're just simply watching, alert and aware. And the next breath in and out, and we'll transition. This is just a little taste of meditation. And I'm just going to bring my palms together in Anjali Mudra. Sometimes I like to leave a little bit cupped, as if you're sort of cupping this energy. You could picture this beautiful light right in the heart center. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Now, I didn't bring my little bell that I usually ring. I usually have a bell or a chime. So that was just a taste of one form of breath meditation. And very, very calming, wonderful for stress, very healing, as I said. So I talked a little bit about shamanic practices for healing. The reading this week that I did that originally gave me the concept of talking about women in healing, Queen of Cups, it has to do, and that was the tarot card that we got, has to do with emotional healing and being emotionally balanced. And I think especially for women that can be in our current society, which is shifting, the emotions tend to be a little bit downgraded in a certain way. Of course, they use them in film to heighten us and get us to go to films, right? It'll either be really violent or really emotional. So in some sense, and emotions are almost used in entertainment to stimulate us and to get us to come in and pay for entertainment. But I'm talking about in daily life, we're almost not supposed to be emotional. And often, like men especially, are told not to be emotional, but even women, a lot in our culture, because of the sort of emphasis on the imbalanced masculine, we're also told, don't feel your emotions. So that is changing for both men and women. And so this was just about being able to feel our emotions. That's what Spirit brought up in the Spirit Messages reading. That is, like I said, check that out. It was about healing, and it was about increasing abundance for us as we're able to feel our emotions balance, and that we would be healing ourselves and also working as healers. So for some of you out there who will watch this on the replay, this might really resonate for you. If you're a healer, you have to heal yourself. And so that's what I was doing this weekend, as I mentioned, doing this wonderful ancestor work that I know I'm going to keep exploring, and you'll see me perhaps down the line bring it into the work in terms of what I present, even on YouTube, but certainly that I present working with clients. I do locally do healing work as a massage therapist, doing shiatsu, which is a very specific type of healing work. And so I anticipate perhaps being able to use this connection with my ancestors, and their abilities when I work with clients, and being able to have, just be able to help them in a deeper way by having a connection with my own lineage, with my own ancestors. And all of our ancestors had gifts, so I want to shift it towards that. Maybe you're watching this video, even in the replay, because there may be something for you in terms of healing with your ancestors. So I really believe things happen for a reason. So if you're watching this, there really may be some healing for you to do with your ancestral lineage. Whether it's just doing some research. Of course, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just do genealogy. But I'm talking about spiritually connecting in with your ancestors. As I said, potentially with shamanic work, if there's a shamanic training, or just a weekend, or even just getting a very good book about shamanism, if you're interested in that. And I'm sure some of my viewers are, because I think I do get some spiritual viewers. And just to recap, if you came in late, I was showing this turtle. A friend gave me what I'm calling disco turtle. I should hold it this way. Disco turtle, because he's like purple with gold dots and a blue belly. And so just connecting back, a lot of shamanism is connecting back with the natural world, because we've reached a point where we think that we're almost like robots. And I do think, I love sci-fi movies as well, but the further and further we get away from the natural world, I think the more we'll continue to see a rise in various diseases that we're starting to see, certainly. And as we continue, if we do, to degrade the planet, we're not gonna be able to solve everything by science. And I know that might be considered retrograde or backwards by some people, but we evolved out of nature. We're still a part of nature. We're still natural beings. We're still animal beings with a spiritual connection, and that, that brings us to a higher level. So as I said, if you're watching this, perhaps there is some call for you to connect in with your own ancestors, with their powers and gifts. Maybe that's something to look into if you're catching this video. And so what I got with turtle, of course, I didn't particularly like turtles, so I thought it was really funny that this came up for me, because of course you think of how slow they are. And they do tend to move very quickly, so it's very interesting to have this particular creature, turtle, brought to mind. And when you do shamanistic work, you you almost want to get into the mind of that particular creature, that particular being. And so I did, and it was this just obviously so close to the ground and so slow, that moving. Imagine being that close to the earth, right? Your belly is actually on the earth. And so I looked up some of the symbolism, and I'm going to continue to explore it. So if you have any questions or comments once I post this video, I'd love to hear if you've done any shamanistic work, if you've taken any training, if you have any animal totems. For a lot of us, before I did any shamanistic work, I noticed I'm also very connected to birds, and they have come up for me in the work that I'm doing with my teacher. I particularly love hummingbirds, and they have meaning that is very significant to me. Like when you think about, again, in terms of healing, in terms of emotional healing, which was the theme of this video, is there a particular animal that you resonate with, that you see it and you just have a nice warm feeling, you feel connected, you think it's either beautiful or you like its particular traits perhaps, and that may be an entry point for you to get deeper meaning and healing by researching that particular animal. Like, some people it's owls, some people it's raven, or crows, or deer. Is there a particular type of animal that is really indigenous to your area? I mean, I even think of the silliness, it's a little more superficial, of like teams take the name of an animal. Now, often we don't know anything about the animal, but the sports team will have the name of the animal, but yet nobody really relates to that particular animal because we've become so cut off. So if you are interested, if this resonates with you, perhaps just thinking about, is there a particular creature, animal? Like I said, I love hummingbird. I think they're just so beautiful, and they have quite a rich symbolism in many cultures, and much meaning in cultures that are long-lived cultures that are closer to nature. So that might be one way of healing, if you tune into animals in your area. Of course, plants are a whole other thing. That could probably be a separate video about healing with plants and plant spirit medicine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the meditation. We did like 5 minutes. It wasn't very long, but it was just a little taste of meditation. If you're not a regular meditator, that can feel, when I've taught meditation, I think 10 minutes feels like a half hour to some of the participants. So anyway, I'm going to post this, and I will answer questions once it's posted, like check back the next day or whatever, and if you have any questions or comments. So thanks so much for tuning in. I usually end at about 9:45. Now I started a little late because of my technical difficulties, but I'm so glad if you were able to see this live, and I'm also very, very happy and grateful if you watch it on the replay. And again, if you'd like to work with me, my name is Kala. I'm a certified yoga teacher, and I've been featured over the years in Essence magazine, in Self magazine, in Yoga Journal. When I was actively teaching yoga, I've shifted more into meditation, teaching mindfulness, and other spiritual practices, not just like yoga classes. At first, that was my thing. I was teaching very physical, like Ashtanga yoga. For those of you who know yoga, I was teaching like power yoga and all of that. So I've sort of transitioned what my focus is. So if you're interested in working with me, whether in terms of intuition and intuitive readings or coaching through transitions, okay, we've gone through a lot of transitions in terms of career, and especially focus on helping women who want to transition and or just thrive in the current careers that are if they're under stress. I'm a former academic, so I would love working with academics, or if you're corporate or an entrepreneur and you just need some tools to work with stress and to basically feel happier, to thrive. Get in touch, and I'll put the links below the video once it is posted. All right, I'm going to close with an Om and 3 Shanti. Shanti means peace, and we typically say it 3 times for peace with ourselves, peace with others, and peace with the forces around us. And it is a very simple mantra. So I'm going to do an Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. If you like this video, enjoyed it, give a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And as I said, leave a comment. And if I can answer the question or can give you feedback, I will. Namaste. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.